Hey there, I'm Ian Douglas. I'm the author of the website techinterview.guide, and I'm here to help people with career advancement and interview preparation. My live stream on Twitch covers topics such as company research, how to build resumes and cover letters, applying for the job, getting through interviews, and what to do during negotiations. I've coached thousands and thousands of people over the years to get jobs at the biggest tech companies in the industry, and I'm here to help you too. The following episode is taken from a longer live stream event and may contain interactions with other people in chat. Check out the end of the episode for more information. Let's get to it. We had another question come in from chat saying, hi everyone, what are some communities where junior developers could join and learn from? For example, Women Who Code, FreeCodeCamp, local software meetup groups, and so on. To start out with, those are three fantastic communities that they can get involved in. There are other communities like 100 Devs that they can be involved in, but that community might expect that you're actually taking their program. Local meetup groups are a fantastic way to meet people and to learn and grow, but those meetups may generally be like, hey, we're only going to meet once a month and we're going to talk about very specific topics for an hour or two, and then that's it. So it may be a little bit harder to find learning opportunities at meetups, but meetups are a great way to kind of give back to the community and say, hey, I'm in the middle of learning this particular technology from FreeCodeCamp. Here's my experience with it. Here's what I've been learning. This is what I've built. Do that as like a 5-minute, 10-minute kind of lightning talk, and you can basically walk into just about any meetup and give that as a talk. Now, some people don't like the idea of public speaking, but it really gets your name out there. And if you're looking for an entry-level position, it's a fantastic way to then wrap up that top and say, that was my experience. Appreciate it. By the way, I'm also looking for a job. If anybody's hiring, these are the skills that I have, and kind of pitch that as you're, walking away from the microphone or however you're doing your presentation, to let people know that you're actively job hunting. It's a great way to kind of get people interested in who you are and what you've been doing. But showing that level of experience where you're willing to get up and give a talk, there's kind of this psychological thing that happens in humans that if you see somebody stand up and say, this is my experience and this is how I built a thing, we kind of impart on them some level of expertise in that topic. Doesn't mean necessarily that they are absolute expert at that thing, but we kind of view them as like, okay, well, they're smart enough at this thing to like get up and give a talk about it, so they must have, some amount of knowledge in there. That can really stand out to potential employers or, other people working on engineering teams, team leads, and so on. All those folks tend to go to these meetups. So I think it's a fantastic way to network with people, not necessarily for a learning opportunity, but it's a great way to get your name out there. Online communities like free boot camps, or freecodecamp.org, I think. There are a lot of online communities where you can go learn content, learn curriculum. I would say as long as it's a structured curriculum, I think you'll do well if you've got a structure to follow. If you just kind of say like, oh, I want to go learn web development. It's like, let me go Google, how do I learn web development? You'll find some links, but it might be kind of scattered as far as the structure of go learn things in this sort of semi-logical order from like the basics and the fundamentals and like building on that knowledge to progress in that skill to get to where you can actually go build an application. As far as other networks and so on, there are a lot of Discord communities out there where people love to have newcomers drop in and ask questions and talk about their projects and talk about what they're building and have mentorship opportunities available, that sort of thing. So there are Discord communities that you can join. Now, I'm not aware of any sort of like Discord search engine where you can say like, go find me all the Discord communities that have to do with Python. Maybe somebody somewhere has built something like that, but I don't know of any. So you could figure out how to sharpen your Google skills and figure out like, are there Slack communities or Discord communities around things like that? One of my favorites is Virtual Coffee. I think it's virtualcoffee.io. Let me go check that real quick and I'll drop that in chat. Virtualcoffee.io. Yeah, I'll drop that in chat and I'll drop it in the description down below as well. So virtualcoffee.io is a great place to just connect with people and say, this is what I'm learning. Are there other people learning this kind of thing? And it's just a community around developers. And it's about like, hey, can we get together for a virtual coffee? They have little co-working groups that you can get on where they have like a lot of people connect and do that sort of thing. You can also put content out on LinkedIn and say, hey, I'm interested in co-working with somebody on a project. If anybody is available, this is what I'm working through. These are the things that I'm learning. I'm looking to connect with people to sort of help with the programming aspect of it. If you're comfortable being on a camera, there are a lot of people live streaming right now, especially here on Twitch, where they're live streaming about the curriculum that they're learning, and they can kind of build up their own community at that point. Or you can be part of someone else's community and say, well, I'm still going to keep live streaming. It is a little more vulnerable, and sometimes you can be really subjected to what we call backseat driving, where as you're working through code, your chat blows up with like everybody telling you how they think you should do it. But again, that's how you need to figure out how you want to manage your own community at that point and say like, hey, I'm willing to take occasional ideas, but I'm not looking for backseat driving. You know, I want to be able to work through this. If you've got suggestions or a pointer on like, hey, go Google this term to help point me in the right direction. Like I want to be able to go learn this on my own, but I want to, you know, just practice coding. I think that there's an interesting level of accountability that happens when you're doing learning in public and doing live coding like that, where you stay focused on topic. And yeah, you can interact with your chat a little bit, but I think it'll help keep you focused on getting into that curriculum and learning that content and so on. Does that work for everybody? No, not everybody likes being on a camera. There are ways of like getting little virtual avatars, or you can share your coding screen. You don't even have to have the camera on you necessarily, but you just show your coding screen and maybe the chat window or something like that. You can set that kind of thing up if you want to do that. It's not necessary, but that's another way that you could do it and build out your own community. I think it's better though if you can find someone else's community and figure out, okay, who are the other people that are out there that are working on things like me, especially the like me portion of like, I want to find other people that are like me, especially if you're coming from like a historically marginalized group where you want to find other people from your ethnicity, your background, your socioeconomic status. Like you want to find other people like you, then you're going to have to hunt around for those communities a little bit. Some of these communities, though, that I've already mentioned, and some that this person in chat already mentioned, like FreeCodeCamp and Virtual Coffee, you could say, hey, by the way, I'm looking for a specific community about this type of background or this walk of life or this ethnicity. Does anybody know any more specific groups that I can go join where I'm literally around people like me? Because I want to be around other people like me in tech that I can learn from their experience about, you know, how did you handle this or that kind of aspect of working in the tech industry. I think that that's an equally important part of community, and not just I need help with a project, but also I want to be able to talk to people like me who come from my walk of life or my type of background, and I want to find out what it was like for them to get into the tech industry and what they deal with on a day-to-day basis. I think that that's also a wise way of spending time in community. So those are my thoughts. If anybody else has ideas around online communities that you've been a part of, please drop them in chat as well, and let our user know. And if you're listening to this or watching this on YouTube later, listening to the podcast audio, I'm always happy to take feedback. If you want to drop in a comment, other online communities that you're familiar with, I'll make sure to pass them on to this person. Thanks for checking that out. I hope that you found it helpful. I always appreciate feedback, so please let me know what you think. I appreciate any subscriptions, so please tell your friends and colleagues about it as well. Check out the website techinterview.guide for more information about when I'm live streaming and all of my free content. Drop by a live stream anytime to ask questions or message me privately, whatever makes you most comfortable. See you next time.